Hey there. So today is a pretty special day for me because this is the last day of my first weekend of moving to South Korea from the USA, where I'm from. So it's been a few days and it's been, a lot of stuff going on. It's been a roller coaster ride of emotions and experiences. Uh, so I thought I would make like a little video diary type of thing because I definitely didn't vlog. But just kind of wanted to try to collect my thoughts in video form and put it out there just to see, if anyone has experienced this before and maybe has some advice for me, or maybe you're going to go through this in the future and you want to know kind of what it feels like, or, all the above, whatever. And it'll be fun for me to look back at, in a year and say like, wow, that was a lot, or maybe I was overreacting a little bit. So my story is that I am coming from the USA, and I'm actually going to be working in a town called Chungju, which is pretty far from Seoul. It's like a 2-hour bus ride. But for this first weekend, I start work tomorrow on Monday, but I wanted to come a little early just to try to adjust to the time zone, and I'm pretty glad that I did. So I've been here for 3 days. I just wanted to talk and reflect on my experiences for the past 3 days and all of the different feelings I've been feeling because I'm a feeler. So, where do I start? Let's start Thursday morning, back in Denver, Colorado, USA, where I'm from. Uh, I left my house at 3 a.m. in the morning to get to the airport. And then I touched down in Incheon in South Korea at 4 p.m. on Friday. So it was a lot of travel. And, I've been to Asia before. I've flown to Korea before on vacation. I've been to Europe, so I'm pretty used to it. But this one was especially tough. And I'll explain why. I think that I had already started to experience a lot of like, you get the sadness from in the couple weeks before you leave, you're going to all of your friends and your family, your coworkers or whatever, and you're saying your final goodbyes. And, there's some tears and sadness and stuff. Who's like, well, I'm not going to see this person again. And, that never felt too bad, I guess. I almost liken it to being an astronaut in a way, in that I was a little bit spacey for the past few weeks because I would just wander around life saying like, or thinking, oh my gosh, in a month, none of these people are going to be around me anymore, and they're not going to be able to see me or anything. That's just a feeling I had. Maybe if you've been through this before, you can kind of know what I mean, where it's like, you're almost like going to the moon, because I might as well be on the moon right now, to the people that I knew back in the US. So yeah, I kind of felt like an astronaut, but it didn't really sink in. I didn't know that it didn't sink in until my flight over. About halfway through, I just started feeling some of the most genuine like grief in my heart and in my stomach and just in my whole body. When I really thought about like, oh my gosh, you are really leaving your disabled father behind. You're really leaving your dog behind that you've had for 10 years. You're really leaving, you're leaving that great job that you really grew to be a part of, and left all of those students that you had grown to love. And oh my gosh, like I had felt those feelings in the month or so before, but I didn't realize how I genuinely didn't feel the gravity of it until I was on that flight, and I'm like, there's no going back. It's over. It's over. So, and from that grief, I think I started to develop a headache. It was probably just, being 20,000 feet in the air, or however many feet you are. But the combination of just being on the plane for 13 hours plus that grief gave me such a bad migraine, and I got so nauseous. I've never thrown up on a plane. I grew up, my family works in the airline industry. I took my first plane ride when I was 3 months old. I've never thrown up on a plane, but I was this close for the last like 6 hours of that plane ride. And I think that came from just like this overwhelming feeling of like, holy shit, dude, it's actually happening. Um, so I made it through without vomiting or anything. Um, but I'm also thinking this whole time, like, oh my gosh, you feel like this, and you're gonna have to land and then navigate your way into Seoul, into the middle of Seoul. I'm staying in Myeongdong right now. Um, and that's pretty far from the airport. So I'm like thinking like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to navigate that. But you know what? It wasn't even that bad. I got off the plane. It was like an hour through customs because another flight from Canada had come and like two flights from Japan had come. So customs was pretty full, but I've seen worse. Uh, so that wasn't too bad. And I was just kind of like breathing heavily, just staring ahead because I was still nauseous. Um, and then getting the bus ticket was not too bad. I've been to Seoul before, so I kind of knew how to navigate that. And, you get to the bus and you're like with some Japanese people, with some Canadians. So it's like no one speaks Korean here, so I didn't feel quite as bad because I guess I haven't mentioned that if you don't know me. I'm trying to work on my Korean, but it's not great right now. Not to where I feel confident with it. Um, but from getting from the airport's pretty easy, right? Because it's just the expectation that everyone is international. And then going through that maze and like taking the bus down here was like 2 hours in rush hour, and then walking to my hotel from the bus stop and kind of distract. I kind of distracted myself from those feelings of grief. It was like a brief respite from it. And I get to the hotel. This place is pretty nice. It's like an Airbnb where these were apartments probably, but they kind of operate like a hotel. It's pretty cool. I won't plug them, but it's been pretty nice. It's in a good location. I'm on like the 13th floor, so you can't really see that, but I get an okay view. And when I got in here Friday night, I was just so exhausted. I hadn't slept in so long and I had that awful migraine. And so I didn't really get a chance to let all of those emotions dwell. I tried to stay up as late as I could. I watched some YouTube, which was kind of comforting. And then I passed out at like 9:30 p.m. Didn't even eat because I was still so nauseous. I couldn't even stomach anything. So yeah, that was my first day, getting here on Friday. Saturday, I woke up and I still had that migraine. And right when I woke up, all of those crazy thoughts came back of like, holy shit, dude. Like, you're actually here. You're actually not going back. You're going to wake up here every day. You're not going to see your family or friend. And all of these, I'm not going to, spew out the negativity again, but all of those thoughts came back. And once again, I feel like that just made the headache so much worse. Which is kind of a bummer because I only had yesterday and today to spend in Seoul. I've vacationed in Seoul, and honestly, I'm not like a big city type of guy. There's a reason I'm moving to Chungju and not even in like Gyeonggi-do or Seoul. No, I don't like the huge city stuff. But still, I wanted to kind of get out and do more. I did end up getting out and doing more later. But yesterday, like I said, I woke up and all of those feelings came back, and it caused this migraine. I feel like there's something that connected my brain into the part that gives you a headache, and all of those feelings I was feeling just amplified it. Finally, I called my family, and that helped a little bit. Video calling is like such a blessing. It's like, how did people live without that before? It's just seeing people's faces just helps a lot, and hearing their voices and matching that. So I felt a little better, and I I didn't go to a cafe or anything because I just wasn't feeling like confident and very social yet, and I still kind of don't right now. But so I just went to like the 7-Eleven across the street and got some coffee and like a gimbap, a couple things, the triangle gimbaps. Just had those for breakfast. But it kind of sucks because honestly, like that feeling just did not go away for the whole day yesterday. Like the grief and Sorry, I'm getting a message on my phone here from the Airbnb. I'm like, hopefully I'm not being too loud. But no, it doesn't sound like that. Where was I? So Saturday, yeah, I just couldn't bring myself to go out. I think it was because I started feeling these feelings of like, oh, I don't know the language and I'm just by myself. And the migraine and just all of those negative thoughts were also making me not feel confident enough to like go out and try to use the Korean that I do know, or even try to use like the translate apps and whatnot. And I just kind of holed up in here and was just kind of like chained to this bed for the day. Honestly, yeah, dude, it's like some of the most genuine grief that I felt. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm excited to be here, but holy cow, it is some of the most just swelling emotions that I've ever felt. Just like, oh my gosh, you actually did it. You abandoned it. It's almost like this feeling of like, oh, I abandoned people. Maybe people can relate to that and tell me about ways they've dealt with it in the comments if you're watching this. And I know that like the people who I feel like I abandoned or whatever would say don't feel like that, but still in the moment it's just tough. So Saturday I literally didn't go out except to the convenience store, and then I did end up ordering some food in, and that kind of made me feel a little better. To where I woke up this morning, I was like, you know what? I feel pretty good. I didn't have a migraine anymore. I felt it's so nice when you have a migraine and then the next day you don't. You like don't realize how good life is without a migraine to where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm a superhero. So today I woke up, I went down to this cafe, and tried to use the Korean that I had, and the lady was really nice there and kind of helped me out, and had a good experience. Had a good cup of coffee. Had a good latte. And yeah, today I went out. I went and shopped at Myeongdong. I needed to get a couple belts because I forgot to pack all my belts. And I just didn't feel that just like barrier anymore. I had a little more confidence. I still have, lingerings of all of those feelings, and I think it's still affecting my confidence a little bit. But today I am starting to feel better. And part of that is that I know tomorrow I'm heading to Chungju and I actually get to go to the school I'm working at. And one thing about me is that I have already been a teacher in the US for almost 2 years, and I miss it so much. I love working with kids and I love teaching. If I were to give any advice to anyone that is thinking about moving to South Korea, teaching English, is that, make sure you like teaching first, because it can be very hit or miss depending on the person. But if that is your passion, I think it's going to make it a lot easier, because everything aside, confidence issues, language issues, like my feelings of leaving my family, all of that aside, I know that I am a great teacher. I know that I love working with kids. They give me energy. And I know that's just going to make it all worth it tomorrow. And I really hope that I'm a good fit for this school. And maybe I'll make some videos about how it works out. But that's kind of been my weekend. Today I had a pretty good day on Sunday, but, let me know if you guys relate. The first 2 days here, it was, I might as well have not existed. I was a ghost. But that's what happened. It happened, and there's nothing I can do about it. Now we just go forward. I almost feel like I don't know if this video makes any sense or if I really had a point, but I just kind of wanted to ramble, I guess. So let me know if you got anything out of it. And if you'd like for me to keep you updated, let me know and subscribe or whatever. I'm not even gonna, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this YouTube channel, but I just kind of want to do a video diary. So if you want to stick along, subscribe, and hopefully I'll talk to you soon. All right? Peace out. Wish me luck.